Hope this works now. I've been like stuck here trying to get us onto the breakdown. Episode 594, sponsored by Gemini, powered by GNN. I've had Charles waiting backstage, so let's bring him right in and let's get right to the talking. Hold on one second. Where is he? Where is my? Why is it like this? I gotta fix this now. Charles, what's going on?
Hey guys, and a Craju day to you. So I always try to break some alpha. Remember, this was the place that we broke Nike Pig on. I think Cardano, you damn meme coin degens, has another Nike Pig in the making right now. It's Craju. I got a story for you about this thing. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my god! All right.
Yeah,
Do you want to?
You're my
What do you
meme
want to
coin
talk about
guy.
first? You want to talk about this first?
Oh fuck yeah, we got to talk about because this is why people show up for your show because they get the alpha, right?
Yeah.
All right. So my brother and I were big Godzilla fans. And so we went to the largest Godzilla convention in the United States. It's called G-Fest over in Chicago. And it's all about Godzilla and what are called kaiju. Kaiju is like great monster. It's Japanese term for it. So one of the dudes at this festival, who's an independent artist, created a whole mythos called Craju. And it's like Crawdad Kaiju. It's because he was from Louisiana. So I bought this fucking statue from him. It's kind of a little cute. It's called Son of Craju. And I didn't think anything of it. I just had it. So then I started posting pictures of it. People turned it into a meme coin. The damn thing has gone up like 20,000%. It's just fucking crazy. So it's right pre-Nike. It's about to explode. And I figured, all right, well, we got to talk about this because David is the guy. It's kind of a 2024 thing, but fuck it. We're going to bring it back for 2025 just because old time's sake. So if you're interested, there's Craju. And I put a link in the private chat to the ticker on Cardano. We're still having fun with it, and I'm gonna keep posting pictures of the Craju. That's all I have to say about the Craju.
I like that you're embracing. You're kind of embracing the meme economy.
Yeah, you can't beat them. Join them.
Yeah, but like there are a lot of people that Charles, that are like they have ADA, they have Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever. Like they have all the majors, and they're like, but we want to dabble since we've DCA'd so much and we bought up so much. We just want to play around. We feel something with this meme, and there's a vibe, and like a lot of these communities aren't toxic. Nobody's like trying to cut people's legs off and stuff, and nobody's like talking down on people. It's like a kumbaya session, and I get it.
Yeah.
High risk, I understand it, but there are people that, and it seems like a lot of protocols are trying to get that crowd over to their platform. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you? And I mean, Justin Sun has tried a lot. I can name a lot of people that have tried to bring over memers onto their protocols. What do you think about potentially having people? I know Quantum Husky's in the works and stuff like that, and that's going to be awesome. But like, what do you think about that? Having embracing the meme culture, having it come on to your platforms, and having people build out, and which eventually or potentially you can see one of these memes actually turn into something that's real, like Geico. Geico has Gecko. I mean, like it got the Gecko. It's a meme, but ultimately people buy insurance, right?
Yeah. Well, Sneck did that on the Cardano ecosystem. They kind of turned their whole ecosystem into something significant and meaningful. In the Hosky community, we're creating Quantum Hosky, and that has a chance to flip Doge. I mean, it's a very big, very real, incredible project. We can spend 2 hours talking about it if we want to. But then you have things like Craju, or Nike, where there's momentum for some reason, and it's fun, and there's like a good community, the vibe for it. You can't create that. You just discover it. You stumble across it. You see something. You say, I just like it. It's fun. It's like I came in this morning, my secretary, she went ahead and put Craju next to coffee, and it's like, hey, Craju's getting a cup of coffee, or Craju's working out, or Craju. So we just take the statue places and take pictures. It's kind of fun like that. And what's cool is that once you capture that momentum, you can turn it into something real. Like for Nike, for example, we're working on both a video game for Nike. We already did one for Charles Token. It was called Bison Valley. And it'll be a Nintendo game, like old school and Nintendo NES game for Nike, that's homebrew. And we're also working on a pig feeder. And so this is a really cool IoT project where you basically have an automated feeder and it's connected to the Hydra network. And if people want to feed Nike, they can send Nike tokens to it to burn them. And then it actually automatically feeds the pig. So you can physically feed the real Nike pig if you want to. And it's a good test of proof of concept of physicalization of Cardano technology. We already got to work with a vending machine. So we should get it to work with IoT devices like Raspberry Pis and things like that. So feed the pig, Nike. So, it's
Pig.
out. It's still doing thing, and they're working on it. So hopefully we can figure out something cool to do with Kraju. People are already talking about. I'm going to put Kraju in the Quantum Hosky game. It's like the roll up of all these things. It's like the Expendables, with Sylvester Stallone got every action star he could find, washed up or otherwise, and put them all in one movie. We're going to do the same for Kraju.
Let's go. Okay. Honestly, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. Like, I was like looking.
Fucking
I'm
breaking it
trying to
on your
fix this.
show, man. Breaking it on your show.
Listen, I was looking. I was like, what? Hold on, because I'm trying to fix. By the way, guys, I had technical difficulties, not in that area that you're thinking about, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to get this online. I'm hoping that Charles doesn't bail out on me here. And I see it. I'm like, what is this? And then you breaking it down. I'm going to look into it more after the show is over with. You must be fucking happy. I've been waiting for this moment for you. Truthfully, because we have a relationship. We talk crypto and politics, but like I
Yeah.
really truly feel like when I'm in spaces, I tell everybody like, we have real innovators out here like yourself who can really, take crypto to the next level. Yesterday, there's a link that comes into my DMs. You must be extremely fucking happy.
The audit report's out. 128 pages. Headline is complete exoneration. 99.7% distributed. It showed all the absolutely amazing work we did. Over 4,000 emails sent, hundreds of phone calls, 400 door knocks. Showed the breakdown of all the use of funds, how everything moved through, but all the allegations were disproven. It was a brutal audit. It took from 4 months for the law firm and for BDO to go through, and they treated it just like an audit. They called people. I spent 8.5 hours talking to the auditors, and they grilled the shit out of me. They're like, this email you wrote July of 2015. What did you mean by this sentence here? I was like, that's the first time I've seen that email in 10 years. Let me read it. Okay, let me contextualize. What did you mean by this statement? What did you mean? And they interviewed former employees. They even found some of the ADA voucher buyers and interviewed them. It was very comprehensive and very invasive. BDO is fifth largest auditor in the world, and MWE is a giant law firm. These are serious people, and it's good for it to be behind us. It's unfortunate that we had to go down this road and have to clear our name in this manner, but it's complete exoneration. And by the way, Cointelegraph didn't carry it
We
after
will
everything.
though. We will.
I
You know
know.
what? Yeah, and you know what? They should.
Yeah,
They
they wrote
should
the
go ahead
article,
and
right? They
say.
accused me of it. They made it a scandal. More than 50 media organizations have been sent a copy of the audit report saying, "What is your comment on this?" That carried the story and alleged that we stole money when it turns out we didn't. And that's the nature of the crypto media. And we knew this would be the end result, that we'd be completely exonerated, but then people would just pretend like it never happened and try to move on and sweep it under the rug. And it created a lot of harm and damage. And it's
What are you going to do about that? Are you just going to just let it slide? Like, has anybody reached out? Forget about Cointelegraph. We know what they like to report about. But has anybody reached out? Because a lot of people were out there, talking shit with no evidence, just putting outlay and this shit out there into the crypto X universe and shit, and where
yeah.
people run with anything, guilty until proven innocent, right? Uh,
Yeah.
has anybody reached out, Charles? Honestly, like, has anybody said, "Hey, my bad, I'm sorry"?
Very few people have apologized. Very few people, and it is what it is. This is just the culture we live in. There's no accountability behind what people say and do. They will go immediately from 0 to 100 and accuse you of being a criminal. And when it turns out they've been disproven, either they'll just pretend like you still are a criminal, or they'll just pretend like they never said it, and they'll move on. It's the age of never admit you're wrong, never admit you make a mistake. We've had many conversations with a law firm that specializes in defamation. And this is defamation and slander libel per se. We don't even have proved damages. It's a pretty serious allegation when you say someone stole $600 million. We have very strong cases if we wanted to pursue litigation, but then there's the question of, do we want to spend 2 years doing that? We know we're going to win. It's pretty black and white from what people have said. We archived all the information. We could demonstrate all kinds of harm that it created. And obviously, it's common sense. If you accuse somebody of stealing Bernie Madoff levels of money, that clearly causes commercial harm and prevents people from wanting to work with you. Like the US government, they'll say, well, I don't know if we should pick that Cardano ecosystem because there's a theft scandal. So let's not select them for anything until after that's been cleared. There's just stuff like that. It's catastrophically damaging to the commercialization of the platform when you're under that degree of criminal scrutiny. When it's clear that it was never a scandal. The audit report confirmed there is no investigation in Japan. There is no lawsuit. There's never been a single ADA buyer that's come forward and said that they didn't get their ADA or they're concerned about it. It's quite the opposite. So there was no one involved in the primary issuance who was ever under any scrutiny or complaint or investigation. The entire scandal's origin came from a single person in Portugal who was never in an input-output employee and never connected to the sale and had no inside knowledge or insight. Basically just took stuff from 5 years ago and just made stuff up. And then the media carried it as if this person had some special knowledge or special authority, and it cascaded from there, and more than 50 articles were written that were very damaging, and it was more than 500 million impressions across the entire internet, and headline, "Allegations of $600 million stolen." And you go to people like Cointelegraph, they carry the story. Zoltan said, "Well, we look forward to the audit report coming out." That's what he said in the article when we talked about it a few months ago.
Yeah.
And you notice that they didn't publish anything.
No.
Yeah, they're still not publishing anything.
So, like, uh, you said something just now, and it clicked for me. You're out there, you're trying to, sit at certain tables to, elevate crypto. Like, I don't care what
Yeah,
anybody says. That I've always seen you that way. Now, people talk, right? Small circle. That messaging goes out there like, oh, Charles might have stole $600 million from Cardano. We're not going to use We're not going to even consider
yeah,
Cardano. And
you're
then you
left
have
out
other
of the
people
room.
that, hey, we might not even want to go ahead and even associate ourselves with Cardano.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've been building here your entire life, honestly.
yeah,
You know, there has to be where, like, I know for you, like, hey, it's not about the money, but it's about sending a message, right? Like, it's clearing your and essentially clearing your name, even though you don't have to, which is that's the weird part.
yeah.
That is so fucking. It's so messed. I that's one thing. Like, we're supposed to be building together. Instead, you have people here that can say whatever they want and they get away with it, and nobody does anything about it. It's just I don't think it's acceptable,
No.
especially on your from your end.
No, it's
Especially
not
from your end.
acceptable. It's not acceptable, and the catastrophic brand and reputational damage that it carried, and we're completely exonerated, and it just there's no apology, there's no contrition, there's no surrender, there's no nothing. It's just, well, okay, I get. Let's just move on now. And you say, well, you hurt Cardano. It wasn't just about my brand and reputation. It's we were excluded from things. We were left out of rooms. We didn't get to go to certain meetings and events because people are worried. Well, is there a real scandal here? Is this the next Celsius? Is this the next FTX? Is this the next Luna? Oh, we let's hold back a little bit until that audit report comes out. So we lost 4 months of commercialization in certain sectors as an ecosystem. And during one of the most important times in crypto's history, when laws are being passed, when governments are making decisions of what to publish on blockchains, partnership announcements, these types of things. So now we got to go fix all that, and oh, I guess you guys were all innocent. Okay, we can be friends again.
Do you
So it
think?
makes
Do you think you were left out of certain tables because of this?
yes, 100%. I was
Have
told.
Did anybody tell you, like, hey, like, I got
Straight
left out?
up. They're like, "Hey, look, we heard about this 600 million theft thing, and you understand the industry. There was Luna and FTX, and we all got really burned by that. Can when's the audit report coming out so we can all be friends?" Literally, I was told that.
Wow.
So, and so this is an example, and it wasn't just IO is Cardano as well. It says we don't want to pick a blockchain with a scandal. And it's just like Ripple when the SEC sued them. The XRP ecosystem was catastrophically harmed by those allegations. And then the SEC goes away, and they're all like, "Hey, let's all be friends again." It's like, well, you just shut us down for 3 years while you guys sued and damaged the ecosystem. And look at Ripple during the lawsuit. It was below Cardano, and now it's like $200 billion post lawsuit. Everybody in the XRP ecosystem knew the damage that did. And when you have this type of scrutiny, it's problematic. With Cardano, it's like nobody serious took this seriously. That was the craziest part about it. They're like, "Oh, so he's being sued by an ADA buyer." No. "Oh, so there's a regulatory investigation." No. "Okay, so an employee or an insider, whistle blew and leaked something." No. "So where's the origin of this?" "Well, this guy in Portugal." "Oh, okay, so what knowledge does he have?" Not really anything. He's just going off of stuff that's on Twitter and other things like that." So in other words, he doesn't know, and he was never connected or had any involvement at all in any of this. Why is he a credible source? That's like that's like waking up and being like, "Hey, I think this politician's a child molester." "Okay, well, have you ever met him?" "No." Did is there a victim that's come forward?" "No." "Is there any evidence that's been presented about it?" "No." "So how do you know?" And then Cointelegraph would show up and be like, "So and so has been accused of molesting children." I
Wow.
mean, it's a recusal of any journalistic integrity, ethics, or responsibility, and it's just extraordinary. It's still no article today. Still, and he said in his article that he looks forward to the audit report because they're going to write a follow up.
I'm sure
Zoltenberg
he's the
that.
first person that you sent the link to.
Yeah, very first. They sent it to over 50 agencies. Cointelegraph was number one on the list. They
Do you
know.
think do you think the card like with XRP, you mentioned Ripple with their case, people did leave the ecosystem.
Yeah.
They got spooked out. Do you think the same happened with Cardano?
It's hard to say, but it wouldn't surprise me, and it is what it is. And, you just move on and we try to recover from it. We can't do any more. We've cleared our name, complete exoneration, and every dollar was accounted for, every Bitcoin is accounted for. And by the way, this revealed beyond a reason of a doubt certain things. For example, that Cardano outperformed Bitcoin. How's that? So if you look at the crowd sale, the audit report shows the addresses where all the Bitcoin that was raised aggregated. We raised about 108,000 Bitcoin for Cardano. The market value of that, $13 billion. The value of ADA is 30 billion. So if you'd held Bitcoin for 10 years, Cardano is 250% better to hold. Not bad. So
Not bad.
that's some good stuff. It's hard to outperform an asset that goes from $250 to $130,000. It's pretty hard, but we did. So
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that. There's a lot of goodness in there. So it's a great story too, because the other thing that the audit report shows is how we behave when no one's looking. How could we have known in 2015 and 2016, 2017 that I'd be talking to David Gottstein in 2025, talking about an audit report? We wouldn't. This
Uh,
was us without any scrutiny, third parties looking, making decisions real time about what to do to benefit people. And if you read it, you'll see a story there where every day we woke up and we said, we got to do the right thing. And even though we don't have a fiduciary or a legal obligation, we have a moral obligation to do the right thing for the good of the ecosystem. And we did that for 10 years straight. And we're still working at it 10 years straight. And it shows like the door knocking is a great section where it talks about after the sweep, how many times they verified the contact numbers, 4,000 emails, over 400 times they visited people in person knocking on doors. And
Jesus
it,
Christ.
and it even showed the private investigation firm and the contracts with them and all the other things and all the diagrams and all these things. It's just a great read if people are interested in it, and you can see who we are as an organization, and how we approach these types of things. It's not going to make everybody happy. Some people are miserable trolls, and you could cure cancer, and they'd say, "Why'd you cure it on Tuesday instead of Monday? Think about all the people that died on Monday." But reasonable people read that and say, "Okay, we were wrong," and you just got to move on. And I'm glad this very painful disgusting chapter is closed. And the people that supported us, we know who you are. The people that left us at the altar, we know who you are. We know who you are, and forever we're going to remember that you weren't with us on this one. And that's who you are. And so, it's a good data point for us in clarifying who good actors are and bad actors are.
Welcome to the breakdown, episode 594, sponsored by Gemini, powered by GNN. I was waiting to talk about this. I was like, man, I was waiting for you to come on here and just, finally say, I told you so.
And can we
And
share the link for the website?
yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah,
Let's
here we
do
go.
that.
Let me
Let's do
give
that.
it to you on the private chat.
By the way, if you have any comments for me or Charles, you can go ahead and shoot them into the chat. I know you guys are all over the place, but let me go ahead and all right, let's see if I can share this. Or and they make you go through cookies and everything. Okay. All right, let me share this. Give me 1 second here. What the hell is going? Yeah, Charles, I feel like throwing my entire set out the window. One of those days where you just feel like throwing the entire set, like
Yeah,
right.
you're having a hell of a day, man.
This is great, man. I tell you, this is phenomenal. Let's go ahead and see if this will work here, and you can go step by step through this. It'll be on my side though. Let's go.
I can share
Movement
my
to
screen too.
transparency. Do you see that?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And let's bring us in here. There we
Yeah,
go.
so this is the website. The website is Ada Redemption Transparency .com. And if you go scroll down to the bottom of it, it's the actual audit report. And if you click that link, you can download the PDF. So it's 128 pages. So right at the very bottom there, you see where it says to demonstrate our commitment. There you go. And the McDermott, Will, and Schultz and BDO are the two people that commissioned it. That did the report. And if you scroll down, you can see all the principal investigators, and those are principal, but they stacked a lot of people. Normally, an audit report of this nature, given the massive amount of data they had to go through, take about 9 months to a year to do. They did it in 4 months, which meant that they had to work weekends and work all kinds of time, and they worked overtime for it. So the executive summary really says it best. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see keep going. Keep going, keep going. Here we go. These are the primary allegations. So the investigation determined that each of the allegations related to topics of investigation do not have any basis. Based on the investigation, we've reached the following conclusions. And it take a while to read all of it, but it says the sources of public allegations against input output and Hoskinson are not from unredeemed voucher holders. Additionally, we're not aware of any pending lawsuits or regulatory actions concerning voucher redemptions. We also did not identify evidence indicating input output or Sawyer's turned away any potential voucher holder who possessed a valid voucher. Throughout the voucher program original sale, reasonable guardrails were put in place to prevent deceptive sales tactics. The voucher program did not exploit the elderly. Only 6% of the people who participated were over the age of 65. Japan, that's a miracle because everybody's fucking old in that country. Large portion of vouchers were redeemed on chain. During the Byron era, 97.3% of all vouchers were redeemed, counting for 98.8% of the unallocated stuff. So then when we did the sweep, that was the remaining stuff. During the Byron era, substantial efforts were made to were undertaken to cause voucher holders redeem on chain. Voucher certificates contain redemption codes, not private keys, because that was one of the allegations. Number 7, the Shelley upgrade. If you scroll down some more, eliminated the automated functionality redemption codes, but they did not lose their right to redeem. The fund the manual process, talked about the staking. Number 9 talks about the efforts to locate people. So 9 is one of my favorite bullet points right here. Sawyer set up a dedicated project team in 2021 to locate, identify, and manually process claims from unredeemed voucher holders. Sawyer's hired multiple consultants, including lawyers, private investigators, KYC specialists, and customer support personnel to begin a multi-year project. Sawyer's and its consultants collectively sent 4,269 emails, mailed 872 letters or welcome boxes, made 3,235 calls, and conducted 402 site visits through PIs that successfully redeemed an additional 246 voucher holders. And after we did all that, we were able to get to 99.7%. If you see bullet point 10, 99.7% of all ADA sold pursuant with the voucher program has been redeemed. So this entire thing was for 0.1%, 0.3%. This entire thing, the whole scandal was about that at the end of the day and what happened there. And we only went to refund mode after 4,269 emails, 872 letters, 3,235 phone calls, and 402 site visits with a private investigator looking at them. They had to verify all that, which meant that the auditors had to go through all of that, all the records, all the sending of letters, all the logs, the pictures, the KYC information, these types of things. They had to reconcile everything from start. I mean, imagine how much work that was to go through all of that. And then you go down to number 11, the voucher holders seeking to redeem post-Shelley upgrade were subject to substantial identity verification, including the use of video and audio. The report goes into all the security issues because Attain, the entity that sold everything, folded in 2017. The compliance information was compromised. So all the compliance information had to be rebuilt for the remaining people. So it says, right, certain voucher holders had to go through multiple attempts before completing these procedures. This caused some delays in redemptions, but the verification procedures were implemented so lawyers and hire consultants could confirm the accuracy and completeness of the KYC information indicated in these procedures were not designed to dissuade redemptions. Then, after people entered a refund, we said, all right, you get your money back, but you don't get your ADA. And so 68 million ADA was not redeemed. That's that 0.3%. And so it was sent to Intersect, and it verifies that, and it shows the use of funds throughout the whole thing. And you can just keep going through. It's 128 pages, the report. And it even has pictures in it showing the help desk tours. So if you go to, let me find the page where that's on, because it's just crazy when you look through the reports. There's so many things there. Like go to page 50. It was like going down to memory lane. Yeah, page number 50. If you scroll down a little bit. This is a picture from 2017 when we did the help desk tour. So that was 8 years ago, and we were trying to tell people, please, for the love of fucking God, redeem your goddamn ADA. Please redeem your ADA. I don't know how to use a computer. Fine, we'll teach you how to use a computer. Please get a laptop, install Daedalus, do these things. I mean, they had actual pictures from events and things like that. Talks about the whole redemption process. There's emails embedded inside of here. The fees that vendors were paid are even listed inside the report. It's as exhaustive as it gets. Go to page 71. This is the post sweep, and easy way to get there is right up there. Yeah, 71. You can see the different entities that were involved in the post sweep redemption process. By the way, the Cardano Foundation knew all of this. They've just pretended that they didn't. ETS, Remix Point, Lightning Communications, and Island Hills. So this is the investigative group. This is the Remix Point was a regulated Japanese exchange. That was another thing that was always here in the discussion of the audit report, which was the Japanese government was fully aware of all of this, and regulated Japanese government entities were involved in this process. Remix Point is an exchange. So when people went to redeem their ADA, they could either redeem to self-custody or to an exchange. So we had to go through diligence to have the exchange agree to sign up for this, which took months because they had to get all the paperwork and understand the whole process. This is how exhaustive this thing was every fucking step of the way. And if you go down all the way to the conclusion, which is, let's see here, which page is it? Yeah, conclusion, page 126. All right, there we go. After a review of tens of thousands of documents, a forensic on-chain and traditional forensic analysis, because they actually went through all our financial records too, and they had to go and rebuild everything, and 18 formal interviews of current employees, former employees, voucher holders, service providers, community members, and third parties, the investigation determined that each of the allegations related to topic investigation do not have any basis. Importantly, 14,282 vouchers, 99.2% consisting of 25.8 billion of all the ADA sold pursuant to the voucher program have been successfully redeemed through the on-chain redemptions and post-sweep redemption project. As such, only 0.8% of vouchers consisting of 0.3% of all ADA sold pursuant to the voucher program remain unredeemed as of August 15th, 2025. The redemption process is still ongoing, and if confirmed unredeemed voucher holders come forward before October 1st, 2028, Hoskinson indicated that he will refund and allow repurchase at the original price. So that's the other crazy part. So for that de minimis amount of ADA, I personally put up my own ADA and I said, you can buy it back for me at the price you paid in 2015, which instantly gives you like a 200x
Yeah.
as an option until 2028. So where's the scandal? Where's the scandal? This is the craziest part of all of it. You know,
How
people just run their mouth,
how much
and
did this cost, Charles?
this report,
Yeah.
horrendously expensive. So it's just and the foundation should have paid for it, right? It's their job as the custodian of the ecosystem. Oh, no, no, we don't want to get involved. Oh, they were involved actually, and they're mentioned numerous times in the report of all the times they recused themselves of any responsibility when they first admitted that they would take care of it, and then they backed away. You know, every step of the way, I took care of this ecosystem because I believe in it. And this 10 years of my life went into this. You can see the amount of systematic work that we did. And all the people that were supposed to show up ran away. Attained the sales agency who actually sold these vouchers to people in Japan. They just went out of business and ran away. And
Are you
then,
disappointed? Are you disappointed with the Cardano ecosystem from that standpoint?
well, not the ecosystem. It's not the ecosystem's fault. I'm disappointed in the core entities, and I'm
Well,
disappointed.
that's what I meant. So
Yeah.
I'll correct
And I
myself.
and I think the primary blame sits on the foundation because we always planned for them to take over in the event that Attain disappeared because they audited the original sale. They audited the original sale. They were the ones who actually checked all the sales processes. In fact, it's even referenced in the audit report because they had access to the audit reports from the CF back in 2015 and 2016 and 2017. So the CF was in a unique position, being objective, neutral, and also having been the auditor of the original sale to know how to handle recovery and redemption. And they just decided not to do it after being asked dozens of times over an 8-year period. So we had to do it. And then everybody Monday morning quarterbacks us about the decisions we made and why we did it. Like the staking revenue is a great example. It actually talks about the staking of the ADA that we had. We spent all the money and it shows where it all went. It's not really cheap to knock on doors 400 times and hire private investigators and lawyers and all this other stuff. And you can actually see in the report the exact amounts that went through. We didn't profit from it. And there's no expectation of staking revenue from people who bought ADA vouchers because staking didn't even exist until 2020. How could you expect to get staking revenue from an asset when you bought the asset and only 5 years later did the asset have staking? That's just a madness to say there's an expectation. Then also, how can you expect to leave your asset and not pick it up and not be charged a storage fee? If I go buy a sofa, I don't get to disappear for 7 years and then come back and say, "Hey, Dave, where's my sofa?"
Yeah.
You just don't get to do that. In any commercial, that's called a promissory estoppel. You just cannot do that under any circumstance. And this is literally what happened for those 390 people. So there was a path here to figure out a way to finance this operation because all the money of Sawyer's had been distributed. It was the TGE entity and say, well, just use staking revenue. And I fully anticipated that it would run into a deficit, meaning that I'd have to give a loan to Sawyer's to cover the rest of it and then they wouldn't be able to repay because they have no revenue stream. Sawyer's was never intended to be a permanent business. It was a pass-through entity to do the sale. That's pretty much it. But all these things were here, and just when you read these things and you say, well, there was a pool of money for the community's interest. It was called the Cardano Foundation. They were the ones given 600 million ADA to do stuff like this. And they again recused any responsibility for it. So that money is inaccessible. And then what do you do with the ADA that's left over after you refund people? Well, it's got to go somewhere. Either you destroy it or you send it somewhere. So how did the CF get funded? It was a donation from Sawyer's Holdings. 100% of their money was a donation from the token generating event entity. So how did Intersect get funded? It was a donation from Sawyer's Holdings, meaning Intersect was funded the exact same way as the CF, the exact same mechanism and donation. So it's okay with the Cardano Foundation, but it's wrong with Intersect, a members-based organization that's a not-for-profit meant for the ecosystem as a whole. It's extraordinary to me. Then, we took a contract with Intersect to distribute the funds. So we split it into two pools. There was 68 million on the top co for Intersect, then 24 million through an MSA with IOI. And then we just got a bunch of contractors like Sunday and a bunch of other people and gave them $1 million contracts. Why? Because the on-chain treasury was just about to turn on. And the on-chain treasury meant that people were going to go and ask for $100 million, $150 million, $200 million. How do you actually do that? How do you bind contracts? How do you set up acceptance criteria? How do you build coalitions? So again, CF was supposed to do all this stuff over a multi-year period. They did nothing. So Intersect had to do it and had to figure out how to do it in less than a year with starting from cold, no people whatsoever. So we all got together and you can see all the disbursements and payments to every single contractor. And if there's some left over, we'll just send it back to Intersect. It's just extraordinary. And it took a forensic audit to go through all these types of things. And even still, when this report came out yesterday, there was a little circle of people in the CF saying the report doesn't exonerate Charles. See, it proves that money was sent to Intersect.
What?
That was never under any dispute. It's a disgusting neurosis inside these people's brains. And there's a derangement syndrome that people have. Nothing we do is right. You create a program where a bunch of Japanese cowboys run around and sell a cryptocurrency in Japan. 10 years later, you figure out a way to get 99.7% of people participated, paid up, and you give them a 3-year option to show up, pick up their refund, and rebuy what they bought. And that's not good enough. That's not good enough. It's just, then what fucking world do you live in of what's good enough for these types of things? What fucking world do you live in? It's extraordinary to me, Dave. I've never seen anything like it in my career. I don't run into this problem in my healthcare business or my bison business or my synthetic biology business or my biotechnology business. But crypto, there's a unique derangement such that nothing you do is right. You want to know who I am? Read this audit report, because nobody was watching while we made all these decisions. And we made these decisions involving hundreds of millions of other dollars of other people's money, which we had every ability to find some construction to steal if we really wanted to, and could have gotten away with it. How many people listening could sit on a pile of hundreds of millions of dollars and just have the moral fortitude not to take it? And we didn't, because it was the right thing to do. And
it's mind blowing that, like, you just said, like, in your other businesses you don't ever have this problem. I
no,
even think about I've never seen this in TriFi. Like, I don't like, yeah, you have, like, Tesla, like, just trolling and stuff like that, but, like, you don't have it to the extent that you have it in crypto. Like, crypto really at times, like, I really feel like people have mental health issues.
I believe so. Yeah, I really do.
And I don't uh, it's the truth though. Like, if you sit back, any normie who wants to come into crypto right now, if you see some of the shit that's being said on X, and I know the world doesn't revolve around X because there's other places you can go to Reddit, you can go to wherever, but it's so toxic. It's weird, and nobody can tell me no because there's money involved. No, no, no. There's money involved in the TriFi
Yeah,
sector, and yet they don't behave this way. They actually wash their ass, they brush their hair, they put deodorant on, and if they go to speak on forums, they're trying to figure out, hey, what's the projections in 6 to 12
yeah,
months?
yeah,
They're not, oh, let's go ahead and go on a funding campaign with no evidence here, and let's go ahead and slander the fuck out of somebody who's only done nothing but build. Weird. I got to tell you, weird. I actually think I'm gonna go this far, Charles, to say I think we've gone backwards this cycle, because I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think we were more mature last cycle than we were this cycle, and I'm
yeah,
just talking about from an from the ecosystem perspective.
yeah,
I'm not talking about what's happening in Congress. I'm not talking about
yeah, yeah.
Trump, which I want to get to you and ask you about that. You know, want to ask you about what's going on there in DC. I want to ask you about the crypto system in general. What do you see happening here? Do you still stand on, hey, I think Bitcoin goes to 250?
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. The
You know,
Giga Chad
all
bull
these
run is still on
topics.
schedule.
There are a lot of people that are scared, Charles, right now. And a lot of people think that it's over. I feel there's going to be a elongated cycle. I don't even think there's a cycle anymore. I don't know. I just feel like we are in a new territory where you have everybody trying to figure. Major companies are trying to figure out how to put Bitcoin on their books, how to put digital. Everybody's trying to figure out how do they participate in crypto, and yet people are saying we have a cycle and it's over. I don't even think we have I keep on saying this. I don't even think retail has come back yet. Retail is in such debt from the last administration. I don't believe they've come back yet. You still have rates that are super high. There are no cuts. I'm waiting to hear if the Fed's are going to cut it. Okay. You don't have a stimulus package. I don't know if I want stimulus checks to go out, but you don't have anything being sent out to retail or to normies. You don't have anything out there yet, and I'm being told there's trillions of dollars on the sidelines waiting to come in. They haven't come in yet, and we hit a 4.1 trillion dollar total market cap. We haven't even touched the surface. What's your take? Like I read some of this stuff. I'm like, where are you getting your information from?
We are on par for the Giga Chad bull run. It's happening. Okay. Happening. $250,000 Bitcoin is happening, and then it's going to go into the alts, all-time highs we've never seen before. We got clarity coming. It's going to get passed in October. I told you guys about Genius. We'll get clarity done. It's going to come in October. That's the market structure bill. We're going to get that done. It's going to be hard. We're going to get it done. The Fed, we're getting all that shit cleaned up. And then once you get the Fed cleaned up, you get the tariff shit fixed up, and you get the Giga Chad bull run, it gets started. And it's going to be crazy. That's my prediction. So 250 Bitcoin, absolutely. I think it's a done deal. It's going to happen. And it's going to carry rising tides across. Bitcoin DeFi is going to wake up and it's going to work its way into the cryptocurrency space. We're doing it. SWI is doing it. Like 20% of SWI's volume is like Bitcoin. It's fucking crazy with what these guys are. And people starting to wake up and say, "Ooh, there's there." Okay. XRP is starting to wake up a little bit and it's doing some interesting stuff. It's starting to wire into the legacy system. There's some goodness there. A lot of stuff is happening, and it's a big deal. There's $10 trillion in real world assets, $10 trillion that are waiting to enter crypto when the regulation flips and it's ready to go. And it's going to happen through the rulemaking process. The president of the United States launched his own coin. He has his own crypto presence. The majority of the president's net wealth is in crypto. This is the first time in history that a president of the United States has the majority of his wealth in crypto.
How can you bet against the president? There's a president in office. He's sitting there collecting crypto. Like I don't know. I don't understand. He's going to make the rules benefit him, right? Am I wrong? Like let's talk. No PC bullshit. The president is going to make sure that the regulations benefit him.
I mean, if I was a betting man, I'm not very bright, David, but if I was a betting man, I'd say something like that is going to happen. I mean, yes, it's exactly right, exactly right. So why is everybody all dramatic? Because there's a hedonic amnesia that our space, no matter what we do, what we achieve, we just can't be happy. I was in this space when Bitcoin was under $1. Okay. I was in this space when Bitcoin was under $1, and I remember it going to $10 and collapsing to $4. I remember when it went from 4 to 250. I remember when it to 80. I remember when it went up to 1200, then down to 250, and then I remember when it to 700. And then I remember when it went all the way up to 20,000, then down to 4, and then up to 60, and then down to 25, and then up to 130. And every step of the way, new people come in and they just be like, "Oh, it's over. It's so over, man. It's all over." It's like, what part of winning do you not understand? We are winning. We're eating the financial system alive. It's just you got to widen the aperture. You got to take a step back and it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. It's just people have unrealistic expectations. They think they'll get intergenerational wealth doing something for 2 weeks.
Exactly.
You can win the lottery, okay? But the lottery is not a business plan.
That's that's so true. You know, I almost feel like Charles. People sign up to X and they expect that their $3 turns into $1 million within 3
Yeah.
days. Otherwise, crypto's a scam.
Although I'm doing pretty good with Macraju.
You are absolutely.
Right. I got something cool I gotta show you. Okay, so let me share my screen.
Let's go. Let's
Oh,
go.
this one I think you're gonna like a lot. This one I think you're gonna like. Okay. So I went to the Monroe Institute, and, the Monroe Institute's really trippy, cool
Yeah.
place. So you remember I was on the Sean Ryan show?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I had breakfast with him. I said, "Sean was like the longest podcast you ever did." He said, "Oh, I think it was Joe McGonigal." I said, "Who the fuck's that?" He's like, "Oh, he's crazy old school, like, Army intelligence guy that helped run Project Stargate." I was like, "Oh, well, what? What is this?" And so I looked into the history of it, and, in the 1960s, the Soviets set up like a paranormal psychology program, remote viewing, psychic stuff, and of course, we're America, so whatever the Soviets do, we have to, like, be better at it. So we're like, "Well, fuck you, we'll set up our own psychic program." So in 1972, the military set up a program called Project Stargate, and they went to Stanford, of all places, Stanford Research Institute, and they gave them a bunch of money to do remote viewing. And so then after Stanford created all this tech, they said, "Oh shit, it's a real thing." So they got 6 guys from the army to go over to train at Stanford. And after they got all trained up, they set up a special group at Fort Meade, which is where the NSA is at. And they went over to Fort Meade and they actually ran Project Stargate for 23 years. And they've discovered all this shit like hostages and there was like Russian nuclear subs and these things. So when they canceled the program after the Soviet Union fell, those guys went over to the Monroe Institute and they kept teaching people how to do what the government did. Okay. So I decided to go for a week just on a lark, skeptical and everything. I said, I'm going to learn how to do remote viewing. And I'm figure this out. So anyway, I went and I trained under that Joe McGonigal guy. He's 80 years old. He fought in Vietnam. He's crusty as hell. He's walking the cane. It's like what you would expect from a guy that like spent 10 years in Vietnam and all this crazy
Yeah.
shit. So anyway, he taught us how to do the remote viewing. So how it works is you're blind to the target. You have no knowledge of it. They just tell you like target B17 or target A12. In this case, it's my special target. That's it. No other information. Then you sit down and there's like a 3-phase process. First, you have the gestalt. So you'll see like this line right here. I drew that. And then after that, you start getting some sensory information. So I was like, yeah, it's alligator like texture. I'm seeing colors like green glass, things like that. I'm hearing vibration, ringing. And then you start getting spatial and dimensional information. So I'm like, oh, there's arches, these things. I'm seeing a crack. This is for timekeeping, I think. It's like something mechanical. All right. So I drew all this down and they're like, all right, we'll tell you tomorrow, what it is. So come back. They have a big pile of envelopes and they're filled with pictures and all the pictures are radically different. So some are of like graveyards and some are mountain ranges and some are crayons and some are like historical monuments like Statue of David or whatever. So they're all radically different pictures. So they give us all the envelopes and they say, all right, go ahead and swap envelopes with anybody you want and take their envelope. So I give my envelope to a person, I take the envelope back. You ready to see what's in the envelope? Let me go ahead and bring this up for you. Okay. So let me stop sharing and I'll share the picture.
Let's go ahead and put that into play. All right.
Oh, there's your alligator-like texture.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
your crack right there. There's your arches back there. There's your green glass. What the fuck, man? So I looked at this, I was like, "Oh, god damn it. No fucking way. This is crazy shit." So I couldn't let this stand. I was like, there's gotta be like a magician's trick. There's gotta be something here. So I spent days like sitting down with AI trying to figure out. I asked a single question: what would have to be true for this to be true? Like for remote viewing to actually be possible? Because here's the other problem. This is not just like looking at something in an envelope. This was precognition because
Yeah.
I swapped the envelope with a person and they couldn't have predicted who I was going to swap with. And they were randomly handing out envelopes anyway. So I didn't have an assigned envelope when they gave me the exercise. So I wasn't looking for a specific envelope. I was looking for a specific envelope in the future. It's precognition, which is just fucking crazy if you think about this shit. Three things have to be true for this to be working. First off, consciousness is not an emergent property of your brain. It's actually non-local. It's called panpsychism. So consciousness is something throughout the whole universe. Your brain's like an antenna and a receiver as instead of a generator of consciousness. Second, information works totally different. You have matter and energy. Normally you think that is an emergent property of matter and energy. No, it's the other way around. Information makes matter and energy. And it has to be universal and non-local, and it has to be what's called holographic, meaning one piece can generate the whole. So there's several people come up with theories for this, like the it from bit theory from Wheeler at MIT, but there's others. And then third, your brain has to be a quantum computer because that's the mechanism that this would work. You quantum entangling with something. So that means that there's a quantum process. And so there's some theories from Roger Penrose called orchestrated reduction theory that says that's true. And also some people think birds navigate with quantum compass. But overall, it just blew my mind. And of course, we're degens, right? So the
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
very first thing I thought is there a way to make some money with this? And it turns out actually people have tried to use this to predict the future for markets, for sports betting, and for investing. So in 1982, those SRI guys actually traded silver commodities with it through a process called associative remote viewing. And they outperformed the market. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna look into this stuff. I'm gonna trade some scions, and then we're gonna basically predict the market. So I think that's about as good as meme coin investing. It's amazing what we believe in. This is the way to go. But I always try to do something outside the box, and that was my week, the prior week at the Monroe Institute, learning about remote viewing. So we broke it here first on the Goshstein show about precognition. You all saw the Liberty Bell.
One day you're gonna look back at this and say, man, I was on his show, or I participate on his show because it's going to be, and man, it's not even dreams. I know I'm gonna have one of the biggest podcasts out there. I'm getting
Oh
back
hell
to
yeah!
podcasting,
Oh
and
hell yeah!
I just want
I
to sit down with people and just have a conversation.
Yeah,
We've lost that where we can like sit here right now, have a conversation without motherfuckering somebody within it,
right.
and like pick everybody's brains and like the original degens are who? Who are the original degens? Bitcoiners, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on, like who? Psycho to go ahead and throw your wealth into something that people were saying you're crazy because nothing's going to happen with this shit. You're just throwing away your money. Though that that's funny. People think that just came along now. Oh, wow, I'm a
Yeah.
degen. Great. You're probably the fourth or fifth generation of that. You're definitely not the first of psychopaths that came through the era of cyberpunk. Man, that was fucking great, right?
We're we're so fucking degenny that we're trying to figure out how to use remote viewing to see into the future so we can bet on meme coins.
Oh my god. Oh my
It's
god.
fucking next level shit, man. So I'm gonna use my clinic for this. So I'm already starting to figure out because I
Do
have
it.
what's called an fMRI, and there's another thing called optically pumped magnetometers for magnetoencephalography. And so I'm gonna start getting some equipment, scanning the brains of people who do remote viewing to see if there's like a technique that you can knock people into a better form of remote viewing. And I'm gonna set up like $5 or $10 million aside and just use remote viewing with associative remote viewing. And set up an investment fund. It'll be half gambling and half investments, and we'll see what the performance is after a year. It'll be the largest experiment ever done for trading with AVR,
I'm telling
ARV.
you, Charles. Oh, by the way, what's up with midnight? I haven't
Oh,
even talked about
oh
midnight
my god,
yet.
we didn't even talk about it's on track to be one of the largest airdrops of all time. We're at 100 near 100,000 redemptions, about almost 10% of the supply. It's got about another 30 days for the redemption period. Then scavenger hunt will turn on, which is the mining side. So it's kind of like a proof of stake, proof of work. Yeah, but partnerships galore. Listings are coming. Over 100 partnerships made. Bitcoin.com, blockchain.com, a lot of the custodians. Good haggling with a lot of different people, and the roadmap looks really good. They're on slate to launch this year. So Midnight is solid, man. Midnight's real solid. Fahmy is a very aggressive president, the president of Midnight Foundation. He wants to win. That's another thing that makes me so sad about the Cardano Foundation. Like they have 1/30th the resources of the Cardano Foundation, and they've only been in business for less than a year. They've already made 100 partnerships. They're getting like CNT listings sorted out. They're fixing broken windows everywhere. They're negotiating with Chainlink. They're negotiating with stable coins. They're like, we want to win. You're like, okay, yeah, all right, yeah. And actually, we have to slow them down a little bit because we're like, yeah, you can sign a deal, but we have to write the software behind that deal. It's a lot of work. And they're like, well, you can do it, right? And it can be ready in 2 weeks, right? That's what we told them. We're like, yeah, sure.
But
Okay.
it's a good problem.
It's a great problem to have. I wish we had this problem, Cardano. The good news is that it creates good stuff for Cardano because Midnight is a Cardano native token.
Yeah.
So, for example, when Brave listed Midnight, they also had to list ADA. And when Bitcoin.com listed Midnight, it also had to list ADA. When blockchain.com listed Midnight, they also had to list ADA. You starting to get it? You
Yeah.
see how it like increases
Tags
support there.
along.
Yeah, and so it really dragged the whole ecosystem along, and it just showed the desperation of how badly we needed a foundation that actually did commercial things. Because a lot of these guys would be like, "Hey, we talked to the CF 3 years ago or something, and we offered, and they said no." Or they said, "We'll get back to you," and they never called us back. "We just thought Cardano didn't do business, and you guys were a dead chain." We're like, "No, no, no, we're real, we promise. Come on over, we'll fix that, we'll take care of that," and we did. So Midnight's doing great. It's going to launch with a very large community, a lot of wonderful technology, and there's a lot of really cool applications we're going to be able to do. I was just at Google, by the way. We can't talk too much about that, but there's some cool stuff that's coming, and we'll be able to announce that pretty soon with it. So all things considered, I'm very, very happy about how smooth it's been, and given how many things we had to overcome. Like we used Hydra, for example, to do the Glacier drop. So those 33.6 million accounts that ended up being in the set, Hydra was the technology enabled it. Cost us like 5 figures to set up the entire thing. If it was done on chain, it'd be like over $1 million in transaction fees or something like that. Ridiculous. So it just shows you that now we've productized that technology. The Glacier drop as a concept is now here to stay. So we can do it again and again and again for future partner chains. In fact, we already have 2 more drops that we're thinking next year to do for different ecosystems we're launching in the Cardano orbit. So every year as an ADA holder, these things are coming, and the stake pool operators are starting to train. So they're going to get multiple revenue streams as well. So I'm very happy about, where Midnight's been at. And I haven't been able to use these remote viewing things to see the future quite yet, but I think I will, do the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and just like speculate on something. And yeah, we'll figure out a path to like get Midnight where it needs to be.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Me and Charles, we go ahead and talk every other week. Okay, we talk about everything. We didn't touch politics today. We will on the next one, I promise. But I wanted to get really like I've been as soon as I got the link, I was sitting on it. I was like, I want to fucking talk about this. I wanted to talk about Midnight also today. I wanted to talk about the ecosystem, but I think we did a good job. We spent our time on some things to clarify some things. I hope that the people that did talk shit, I hope they come out like men and stand on business and say I apologize, because that's the right thing to do. Okay, that is the right thing to do. Like when you fuck up, it's the right thing to do, to come out and say, "Yo, my bad. I'm sorry. We retract everything that we stated before." Okay,
Right.
we didn't base it on actual evidence. That's it. It's water under the bridge. I think. I don't know. Like I'm the type of person, you go ahead and acknowledge it, and you say I'm sorry. Okay, let's move forward, and let's hope that moving forward you go ahead and report on things with factual information and not just hearsay and take a word of a guy who's never been a part of an organization.
Where are you at, Cointelegraph? Where's my article? Zoltan, you said it. Promised us. It's in your article. You said, well, when the audit report comes out, we'll write about it. Where you at, buddy? You're gonna write complete exoneration? We got it wrong. We're sorry for spreading fake news. Oh, no, we just got to move on now. We just got to move on. We can't talk about it. We just because we got it wrong. Yeah, because you're shills. But that's okay. We're gonna win, motherfucker. We got scions now. Cardano can see the future, literally. We are investing all in, man. We got synthetic biology shit. We got biotechnology. We got Bison. By the way, we just released our game, Bison Valley. You can download that if you're a Charles token holder. You feed the Bison with Charles token. So, it's on your cell phone. You can get it. It came out September 3rd, I think. So there you go. You get fucking bison. Feed the bison. Charles Toad. We got that. We got midnight. We got quantum husky. We literally are going to show people what the fucking fourth dimension is. Think about that.
I can't wait for that. That's the one that I'm waiting for.
Oh, dude, the dish brain computers are so crazy. I was talking to the CEO of Cortical Labs because we literally have human brains in a dish that we wire up to computers, and you can control them with computers. It's like so dystopian and fucked up. But I was talking to the CEO, and he's like, those dish brain computers know who's feeding them. I was like, what do you mean? He said the electrical activity changes based upon the lab tech who's feeding the dish brain computer. I was like, that's really scary, man. That's really scary. I don't know about that. Sketchy, man. And it's like, well, are we not going to put him in the game now? No, of course we're going to put him in the game. so
I can't wait for that. I really can't.
Actually, in honor of Hosky, because Hosky is always about zero value and destroying things. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to put, I probably shouldn't reveal this, but fuck it, I always do. Ship that leaks from the top. So what we're going to do is, in H.P. Lovecraft's mythos, there's Cthulhu and all these other fucked up gods. Well, the king of all of them is called Azathoth. And basically, it's like this sleeping god that if he ever wakes up, the universe comes to an end. The whole universe ends. So the universe is just a dream of the sleeping god. So what we're going to do is put like a character inspired by Azathoth in Quantum Hosky, and the AI and the dish brains are trying to wake that thing up. That's what they do. And if it wakes up, it ends the game. So the whole blockchain shuts down.
Oh my! I don't know why I had images of Morgan Freeman from the trilogy of Batman shutting down everything.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So that's what that's what we're doing. So that's going to be a lot of fun to see if the AI can figure out how to kill the game. So when you're playing Quantum Hosky, you're like, well, if the dish brain and AI things ever figure this out, they, like everything comes to an end, the whole blockchain dies. It's great, isn't it? That's we got that coming next year. How can you bet against this ecosystem? Ouroboros Laos, we just released the Laos SIP. That's 60 times faster than the current design, and that's just the fucking floor. That's the beginning. We got that going. We got post-quantum shit coming. We got quantum shit coming. Post-quantum and quantum. Quantum Hosky has a quantum beacon. It's the first quantum random number generator to be deployed in the cryptocurrency space. How about that? Huh?
Look, yeah, hey, guy, I'm telling you, every single time I have a conversation, whether it's on this show, whether it's on Spaces, this is where this man goes. It's just some different fucking galaxy with some crazy ass shit. In the next 2 weeks, tune in as me and Charles will talk about peptides and ice cold plunges and saunas, red light saunas and stuff, and having things hardwired to your brain. I love this shit. Charles, I appreciate, honestly, first of all, I appreciate you definitely holding on here while, I was fixing some connection issues here.
I'm just going to hold it against you for the rest of your life.
Sorry. Damn it. Can't wait for the article. But next week, I'd love to go ahead and touch base on all that stuff that you just talked about, and a few more things like, obviously SEC, they're talking about how, they're opening up the floodgates in terms of.
I'm working on something right now. I can't talk about it, but like in a few weeks I can. And in terms of politics, it's all politics. I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised. So there could be, I don't know, maybe some.
2 weeks you could talk about it on here.
I'm going to talk about it, but I can't talk about it right now. I'm going to talk about it here. You're going to be the guy. You're David. You're the guy. You're always the guy.
I get the exclusive.
You get the exclusive.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happens when you're nice to people. Okay?
Yes.
Honestly, nice to people.
Yes.
I will hold Charles to the fire. Don't you think that if there is something to hold him to the fire for, I will, but I haven't found anything.
There's an audit report. You can read it. Please do read it. It's 120 pages of hold my feet to the fire. And so this David Goshstein, he's got the nicest skin in the business, moisturizes daily.
Wash my ass. There you go. That's the secret.
Washes his ass. We've learned it here. You heard it here first. You buy one of those Japanese toilets just to be sure.
Charles, honestly, I'm happy for you because of the report. Really, I'm genuinely happy for you. I'm happy. I'm definitely fucking stoked. Seeing how many people are talking about midnight and all that stuff, really dope. And I appreciate you for going out there, not just now, but before when the industry was being choked out, going out there and trying to make a difference in this space and trying to level it up. I really do. You know, you are one of those guys that people should appreciate, that we have in this space and that continues to build and still excited about building.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Thank you, Charles. And
Thank you so much, David. It's been a lot of
hopefully
fun.
we go ahead and touch base in the next 2 weeks and talk about some
Well,
other
we're gonna have
cool
a
shit.
lot of politics. Lot of politics.
Exclusive stuff, guys.
Exclusive
Exclusive.
politics. And remember, don't sleep on Kraju.
Don't sleep on it. I don't even have. I only know what Charles told me today. I'm going to look into it, but don't sleep on it. Okay.
Sleep on Kraju.
The founder of not only Ethereum but Cardano, and you have all these. He's a founder of everything. Okay. He's out here and he's talking memes. Oh, you guys are excited about memes. Look, he's talking about a meme.
Yeah, fuck it. Don't sleep on Kraju. It's 1,000 years of Rick and Morty, 1,000 episodes, 1,000 seasons, 1,000 seasons of Kraju.
Let's fucking go.
All
I
right,
love
thanks,
this. I
man.
love this excitement. Charles,
Cheers.
I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful day. And shout out to your entire staff. Love them as well.
Of course. Thanks, David. Cheers.
Cheers. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, who was that? That was Charles. Yes, if you see my muscles popping out, that means I am not only am I trenching, I don't even know if I'm even really trenching, but not only am I going to work here. Ooh, yeah. Why am I sound like Macho Man Randy Savage? Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, to the breakdown episode 594, sponsored by Gemini, the good folks at Gemini, my family at Gemini, the America's Exchange. Their wallet, if you haven't got their Web3 wallet, what are you doing? Okay. If you haven't looked into the Bitcoin credit card and now also the XRP credit card, what are you doing? Either 4% back, 4% back on your on purchases in XRP or in Bitcoin. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Their cards are issued by WebBank. If you didn't get yourself a free Gemini ENS, what are you doing with your lives? Ladies and gentlemen, I did not have the morning show today. I did not have the morning show. You know why? I went to sleep late. But I'm here. I showed up because I knew Charles was coming through and I needed to talk to him about everything that was happening. This report that was sent to me, I looked it over. I didn't completely read it, but I looked it over. It's like, Charles got to talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you succeed. I hope that you are sitting back right now and looking at your whole portfolio and asking yourself whether I'm in the right shit or not. And if I'm not, maybe I should get out of this shit and go into something that's going to be more productive. I will be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the breakdown episode 595. We will be 5 away from 600. Ladies and gentlemen, officially 600. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in. Why did this shit come out? I got a search button that came out. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate all you guys. I know you missed me in the morning, okay? I've missed me in the morning, okay? I missed me in the morning, but thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. I will see you tomorrow, and hopefully I will finally be able to go and get my hair cut and get a little trim on the beard, okay? And look even younger than I do now. On that note, I'm out.